Section 4 of the Faerie Queene. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Morgan Scorpion. The Faerie Queene by Edmund Spenser. Book 1. The Legend of the Knight of Red Cross. Canto 3. Forsaken truth long seeks her love, and makes the lion mild, mars blind devotion's mart, and falls in hand of lecher viled. Naught there under heaven's wild hollowness that moves more dear compassion of mind, than beauty brought to unworthy wretchedness, through envy's snare or fortune's freaks unkind. I, whether lately through her brightness blind, or through allegiance and fast fealty, which I do owe unto all womankind, feel my heart pierced with so great agony, when such I see, that all for pity I could die. And now it is in passion so deep, for fair Una's sake, of whom I sing, that my frail eyes these lines with tears do steep, to think how she through guileful handling, though true as touch, though daughter of a king, though fair as ever living wight was fair, thought nor in word nor deed ill meriting, is from her knight divorced in despair, and her due loves derived to that vile witch's share. Yet she most faithful lady all this while, forsaken, woful, solitary maid, far from all people's praise, as in exile, in wilderness and wasteful deserts strayed, to seek her knight, who subtly betrayed through that late vision, which the enchanter wrought, had her abandoned. She of nought afraid, through woods and wasteness wild him daily sought, yet wished tidings none of him unto her brought. One day, nigh weary of the irksome way, from her unhasty beast she did alight, and on the grass her dainty limbs did lay in secret shadow, far from all men's sight. From her fair head her fillet she undight, and laid her stole aside. Her angel's face, as the great eye of heaven shined bright, and made a sunshine in the shady place, did never mortal eye behold such heavenly grace. It fortuned out of the thickest wood, a ramping lion rushed suddenly, hunting full greedy after salvage blood. Soon as the royal virgin he did spy, with gaping mouth at her ran greedily, to have at once devoured her tender corse. But to the prey, when as he drew more nigh, his bloody rage assuaged with remorse, and with the sight amazed, forgot his furious force. Instead thereof he kissed her weary feet, and licked her lily hands with fawning tongue, as he her wronged innocence did weet. O how can beauty maister the most strong, and simple truth subdue avenging wrong? Whose yielded pride and proud submission, still dreading death, when she had marked long, her heart gan melt in great compassion, and drizzling tears did shed for pure affection. The lion, lord of every beast in field, quoth she, his princely puissance doth abate, and mighty proud to humble weak does yield. Forgetful of the hungry rage, which late him pricked, in pity of my sad estate. But he, my lion and my noble lord, how does he find in cruel heart to hate her that him loved, and ever most adored as the god of my life? Why hath he me abhorred? Redounding tears did choke the end of her plaint, which softly echoed from the neighbour wood, and sad to see her sorrowful constraint, the kingly beast upon her gazing stood, with pity calmed, down fell his angry mood. At last in close heart shutting up her pain, arose the virgin born of heavenly brood, and to her snowy palfrey got again, to seek her strayed champion, if she might attain. The lion would not leave her desolate, but with her went along, as a strong guard of her chaste person, and a faithful mate of her sad troubles and misfortunes hard. Still when she slept, he kept both watch and ward, and when she waked, he waited diligent, with humble service to her will prepared. From her fair eyes he took commandment, and ever by her looks conceived her intent. Long she thus travelled through deserts wide, by which she thought her wandering night should pass, yet never shew of living wight espied, till that at length she found the trodden grass, in which the tract of people's footing was, under the steep foot of a mountain hoar. The same she follows, till at last she has a damsel spied slow footing her before, that on her shoulders sad a pot of water bore. To whom approaching she to her gan call, to weet if dwelling place were nigh at hand. But the rude wench her answered nought at all, she could not hear, nor speak, nor understand, till seeing by her side the lion stand, with sudden feare her pitcher downe she threw, and fled away, for never in that land Face of faire lady she before did view, And that dread lion's looke her caft in deadly hew. Full faft she fled, ne ever looked behind, As if her life upon the wager lay, And home she came, whereas her mother blind Sate in eternal night, nought could she say, But fudden catching hold, did her difmay With quaking hands, and other fignes of feare, Who full of ghaftly fright and cold affray, Gan fhut the doore. By this arrived there Dame Una, weary dame, and entrance did requere, Which when none yeelded, her unruly page With his rude clawes the wicket open rent, And let her in, where of his cruel rage, Nigh dead with feare and faint astonifhment, She found them both in darkfome corner pent, Where that old woman day and night did pray Upon her beads devoutly penitent, 900 paternosters every day, And thrice 900 aves she was wont to say, And to augment her painfull penance more, Thrice every weeke in afhes she did fit, And next her wrinkled skin rough sackcloth wore, And thrice 3 times did faft from any bit. But now for feare her beads she did forget, Whofe needleffe dread for to remove away, Faire Una framed words and countenance fit, Which hardly doen, at length she gan them pray, That in their cottage fmall that night she reft her may. The day is spent, and cometh drowfie night, When every creature fhrowded is in fleepe. Sad Una downe her lays in weary plight, And at her feet the lion watch doth keepe. Instead of reft, she does lament and weepe For the late loffe of her deare loved knight, And fighes, and groanes, and evermore does fteepe Her tender breast in bitter teares all night. All night she thinkes too long, and often lookes for light. Now when Aldebaran was mounted high Above the shiny Cassiopeia's chaire, And all in deadly fleepe did drowned lie, One knocked at the doore, and in would fare. He knocked faft, and often curft and fware, That ready entrance was not at his call, For on his backe a heavy load he bare, Of nightly ftealths and pillage feverall, Which he had got abrode by purchafe criminall. He was to weet a ftout and fturdy thiefe, Wont to rob churches of their ornaments, And poore mens boxes of their due reliefe, Which given was to them for good intents. The holy Saints of their rich veftiments He did disrobe, when all men careleffe flept, And spoyled the priefts of their habiliments, Whiles none the holy things in fafety kept. Then he by cunning fleights in at the window crept, And all that he by right or wrong could find, Unto this houfe he brought, and did beftow Upon the daughter of this woman blind, Abessa, daughter of Corcera flow, With whom he whoredom ufed, that few did know, And fed her fat with feast of offerings, And plenty, which in all the land did grow, Ne spared he to give her golden rings, And now he to her brought part of his stollen things. Thus long the doore with rage and threats he bet, Yet of thofe fearefull women none durft rife, The lion frayd them, him in to let. He would no longer ftay him to advife, But open breaks the doore in furious wife, And entring is, when that difdainfull beaft, Encountring fierce, him fudden doth furprize, And feizing cruel clawes on trembling breft, Under his lordly foot him proudly hath fuppreft. Him booteth not refifte, nor fuccour call, His bleeding hart is in the vengers hand, Who ftreight him rent in 1000 pieces fmall, And quite dismembred hath. The thirsty land drunk up his life, his corfe left on the ftrand. His fearefull friends weare out the wofull night, Ne dare to weepe, nor feeme to understand The heavy hap, which on them is alight, Affrayd, leaft to themfelves the like mifhappen might. Now when broad day the world discovered has, Up Una rofe, up rofe the lion eke, And on their former journey forward pas, In wayes unknown, her wandring knight to feeke, With paines far paffing that long wandring Greeke, That for his love refufed deity. Such were the labours of this Lady meeke, Still feeking him, that from her still did fly, Then furthest from her hope, when moft she weened nigh. Soon as she parted thence, the fearefull twaine, That blind old woman and her daughter deare, Came forth, and finding Cercrapine there flaine, For anguifh great they gan to rend their haire. and beat their breasts.